What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Doghouse. I do apologize we didn't get a video up last week. Sometimes life comes at you fast, and we've been pretty crazy busy around here. So we're going to cram 2 weeks episodes into one episode this week, and we'll get everybody caught up. First story we have is, if you remember, after the 2016 season, beginning of the 2017 season, Hugh Jackson said that if he had another 1-15 record, he was going to go jump in the lake. Meant as a joke at the time, but then the pressure kind of started from fans and the staff after the 0-16 season we had last year, and Hugh made good on his word. He did jump in the lake on June 1st. He used the opportunity as a fundraising effort for his foundation, the Hugh Jackson Foundation, which, for anyone who's not aware, is an organization to help victims of human trafficking. Now, Hugh said that he was going to donate $100 for every person that he got to jump in the lake with him, and Hugh ended up raising a total of $15,000 by himself through fundraising, and then Jimmy and Dee Haslam graciously doubled what Hugh had raised, so Hugh ended up raising a total of $30,000 to help the victims of human trafficking, which is fantastic. I love that the Haslams went out and they donated and matched what Hugh had raised himself. This is awesome. $30,000 to a good cause. Now, for any of us who hadn't heard this little gem, Damarius Randall tweets, "If the Cleveland Cavaliers win the 2018 NBA Finals, I'll buy anyone who retweets this a jersey." Oh, man. Damarius. Okay, now, obviously, we all know how the finals panned out, and none of us here in Cleveland are happy. But that being said, you don't bet against the city you play for. The Cavs are the biggest thing in Cleveland, and you basically just ticked off probably 80 to 90, we'll call it 100% of Browns fans, right? So they actually use this as a tool or for teaching a lesson to the rest of the players just how much social media can affect everything. They basically use this tweet in team meetings to demonstrate what not to do on social media. Randall had said that he didn't expect it to get 100 retweets. He ended up breaking Twitter's record for the number of retweets by any professional athlete ever. So basically, what it boiled down to was, like I said, he had expected not to get 100 retweets. The last time I had checked this, he was at 1.2 million. So do the math. 1.2 million times $43 a jersey. Damarius was going to be looking for some loans, or he was in trouble. Luckily enough for him, though, we know how all that ended up. So he's off the hook on that one from having to purchase standpoint. I'm just hoping this doesn't leave a bad taste in people's mouths when the season starts. Damarius is going to be a fantastic addition to our team. I expect a lot of really good things out of him. Just basically, you got to watch what you say sometimes. But I think everything is going to pan out all right in the end. Also, Joe Thomas is still hanging around the building, as we all know. Our favorite left tackle decided to retire before the draft this year. And even though he said goodbye to his playing days, Joe is still actually hanging around the building from time to time. He's trying to help players out, the new linemen that we've got. This includes Sean Coleman, who he played on right tackle last year. So far, they're talking about transitioning him over to left tackle to fill Joe's shoes. Also, Austin Corbett. Joe's really kind of stayed on. Joe's really trying to mentor these guys and try to help them in any way he possibly can. And this speaks volumes of who Joe Thomas is. I mean, everybody loves Joe Thomas. I don't have to make an argument for Joe Thomas. But even in retirement, Joe's still sticking around, and he's trying to help out the organization in any way he can. I'm really hoping, Joe, if by some freakish chance you ever see this, please come back and coach. Oh, I would love Joe Thomas as an offensive line coach. That would be awesome. An assistant, anything. This guy is a Hall of Famer, no doubt. First ballot. We all know this. I would really like to see him come back and coach someday. Maybe this is what he's kind of leaning towards. He's got the media thing that he's kind of exploring with the, it all started with the Joe Thomas Hour, and then on to Tomahawk. He dabbled with some guest appearances on ESPN. Maybe we see him in a booth someday, but I really, truly hope that we can really capitalize on Joe Thomas's talent and he can come back here and be a teacher for the Browns linemen of the future. One more item of business that Browns got taken care of recently was Duke Johnson's contract extension. This is huge. Everybody loves Duke. Duke's phenomenal. We love Duke. Duke got a 3-year, $15 million and change contract extension. This is awesome because this locks one of our favorite running backs up. I mean, if you want to call him a running back, he's more of the Swiss Army knife of the backfield. As we know, he catches out of the backfield, runs the ball. Duke's a do-it-all guy. This is somebody we had to lock down, and the Browns front office went and got it done. I'm really happy they got this deal done, and we can just rest assured knowing that Duke's going to be here for years to come. All right, and the last little bit of older news that we have is the Browns rounded out their OTAs. They are now making the transition into the mandatory minicamp this week. By the time the video posts, we'll probably be somewhere around Wednesday. I know I'm late again, but the Browns did start their mandatory minicamp on Tuesday, and it'll go on for the next few days, and then everybody's going to take a break, kind of regroup, relax, refresh, hopefully keep themselves in shape, and then everybody's going to regroup again around the end of July for training camp. I gotta say, yesterday was kind of a dream day for me. My wife Tiffany and I were invited out to Berea to tour the Browns facility. This was just awesome. I'm sorry. You should have seen me. I'm all jumping around, dancing around the house when we found out we got the invitation. I'm in the car yesterday, freaking out right before we go in. I've been to the facility. I've been to training camp numerous times. Never walked through the doors. So this was a big day for me. And I know I'm not special, and lots of people get to go into the building and get tours and all that, but this was a big thing for me. I was stoked. So we were invited out there, and we ended up going on the tour. It was just amazing. So we walked through the front doors, we're in the lobby, and we sign in. The first thing I see, Joe Thomas, game-worn jersey, shoulder pads, cleats, autograph balls. I'm losing my mind. Everything's awesome. Not gonna lie, I was a little overexcited. It was a good time for me. So we're sitting there, we're waiting for the gentleman to come and give us the tour, and I'm drooling. I'm looking around, I'm seeing everything that I've seen in videos around the Cleveland Browns website. I'm geeking. I'm just losing it. It was amazing. So we start the tour off. We go into the press conference room. The press conference room. You know, the room where when the rookies are drafted, they come in, they sit down, coordinators, coaches, everybody. The press conference room. And I know what you're thinking. Paul, this is just a room. It's just like any other room. There's just videos made there. But then this happened. Yep. That's me and my wife Tiffany standing there right where every Browns rookie has given a press conference after being drafted, where every head coach has been doing press conferences, has been introduced, where ownership of the Cleveland Browns was announced. Just forget about it. We got to move on. I could do this all day. Next up, we took a short elevator ride to the second floor, and as soon as we walk out, Nathan Segura is in the middle of recording his episode of Cleveland Browns Daily in the studio. Now, okay, I wanted pictures of this because I'm a fanatic. I've come to terms with it. I'm a fanatic. I did not get a picture of this because I didn't want to be that guy. So I took a picture of the mural on the wall across from where Nathan was recording the episode of Cleveland Browns Daily. After that, we took a short walk and pointed all the way down to the end of the office hallway there where John Dorsey's office was and Hugh Jackson's office was. Again, no picture. Didn't want to be that guy. Next stop was the Jim Brown wing of the building. That's right. The man has his own wing. Deservedly so. I mean, look at everything he did for the city of Cleveland in his time with the Browns, and still to this day, working with the team. He deserves his own wing. I'm glad he got one. So we stopped by the memorabilia wall. We look. We don't touch. Very tempting to touch. This stuff is not behind glass. I understand why it's not behind glass, because it is the corporate office of the Cleveland Browns, and everyone there is expected to show restraint. But then there's people like me walking through the building. God, it was hard not to touch. If you notice, in the bottom corner here, we have the 1964 NFL Championship Trophy. Yes, this one. That's the trophy we won in '64. The last time we won anything. That was really hard not to touch. It was within reach. I could have just reached out and touched it. Wanted to, refrained, didn't do it. After we saw the memorabilia wall, they took us over to the man himself's office, Jim Brown's office. I saw his office. Unfortunately, Mr. Brown was not in that day, but I saw his office. So I took a picture of an empty office with no lights on, and I took a picture of his name plaque on the door just to prove it. So I've got evidence. I was there. That was the man's office. Another defining moment in my life. Absolutely. After that, we took a trip down the stairs. They showed us the cafeteria where all the players eat their meals throughout the day. Each meal is nutritionally balanced by nutritionists specifically for each player's dietary needs. While we were down there, we sat down and we talked a little while about season tickets. We are now season ticket holders for the Cleveland Browns. We will be there every Sunday. We're hopefully going to get some good shots for the show, get some play-by-plays, and be able to break stuff down a little bit better. While we were headed into the cafeteria, just as I was turning, I saw John Dorsey himself walking down the stairs. Again, didn't want to be that guy to start snapping pictures of him while he's trying to conduct his daily business, so I refrained. So as we're sitting there talking, I keep feeling my wife poking me on the knee, and she's staring over my shoulder. As it turns out, kind of embarrassing. I had Denzel Ward, Nick Chubb, and Hugh Jackson all right over my shoulder at one point. And like I said, this is embarrassing. I didn't see any of them. Yeah. 4 people, including Dorsey, that I would have given my left arm to get pictures with. And I screwed it up. But there's always next year, right? But basically, the trip to Berea was awesome. I'd like to thank Tony and Jack from the sales department who took us in there and gave us the tour and really worked with us and got us some season tickets, which has been a dream of mine for a long time. So thank you to the both of them. Also, thank you for bearing with me in my giddy video here. The second half of this I know has kind of gone off the rails, but this is really cool. This is like my journey to the Holy Land. This is Mecca for me. This was really exciting, and I had a great time. That's all for this week. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of The Doghouse. Didn't expect it to get 100 retweets, and he ended up breaking Twitter. The press conference room. Stoked. And I smacked the microphone.